What's up, creative warriors? Coach D here, and welcome back to Ladies in Defense. In today's episode, we're going to cover the power of failure. And today's technique, we're going to cover our outward block, hand strike number 3, combined with a straight punch and a crossing elbow. The topic of the day, the powers of failure. Within our martial arts, there are many times that you're going to try a technique and you're going to fail miserably at it. Whether it's a kick, a punch, a hand combination, you're going to have to try and try again. Success doesn't mean avoiding failure. All of us fail. As we move forward in life, we will all take wrong turns and struggle to find our way. The only person who avoids failure altogether is a person who never begins the journey. And so the real issue is not whether you're going to fail at doing these techniques or whatever, but whether you're going to fail successfully. Will you fail forward? I.e., will you learn from your mistakes? Unsuccessful people are often so afraid of failure and rejection that they spend their whole lives avoiding risks and decisions that could lead to failure. They don't realize that success is based on their ability to fail and keep trying. How many times have most of you heard that? Now, when you have the right attitude, failure is not fatal or final. Now, just take a little time, let that sink in. Alright, I'm done with it. Now on to today's lesson. The real reason you came here, right? Alright, today's lesson. We're going to begin by using an outward block. Now, whether you're going to use that outward block from a traditional form of martial art or traditional form of kung fu, that outward block be here. If you're going to use it just from a normal fighting stance, whether it's normal karate, MMA, what have you, your normal fighting stance or boxing stance, that same block would be here. Now, the technique of the day is hand strike number 3. Remember, 1, 2 are blocks, 3 is a chop. So it's depending on which side you're actually starting from. So that chop is here, 3. That is that chop. Now, to properly do that chop, you're going to need to drop your body weight in that. And so it will go here. You can choose a chop or you can choose a hammer strike. Personally, I choose the hammer strike. And my target is the side of the chin, the very bottom side of the chin, or the collarbone, or raking in to both. Now you say, how would you do that? That means you're going to cross the face. Okay, now to get started here, we have an outward block from a traditional stance. So we have 1, 2. 1, 2. Notice my weight is falling. So 1, 2. Alright. The same thing from a boxing stance. We have 1, 2. 1, 2. Now notice the time that we're going from here, 1, 2, and the time to go from here and down. 2 things are happening here. Number 1, this is going to be a much faster block. But if you don't choose a hammer strike, that chop isn't going to have a whole, it's not going to have a big effect. There's not enough force and not enough power unless you're some guy that's 6'7", in which this whole scenario would be different anyway. And so if you're going to use this block here and coming back in, that this has to be the beginning of the attack you are launching inside. And we can't call this anything other than what it is. This is an attack. You're entering someone else's guard. And mind you, you're inside someone else's guard. And so if you're not very, very careful, bad things are going to happen. And so again, we go 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, we're going to add here. And so what the next natural thing that should fall from here should either be a straight punch going straight into the sternum. So we go 1, 2, 3. Move back here. And we'll go again. We'll go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Or from that other fighting stance, a normal fighting stance, a boxing stance, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, Is it out? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, the beautiful thing with the 10 hand strikes is that if I go through the hand strikes, you're gonna find the straight punch. But I don't want to get ahead. And so the next thing we're going to be looking at here is the thought of adding another technique. Now, you say, what's the point in building upon technique after technique after technique? If you're stuck into this mode of, I'm going to defend myself, if you're only stuck there, then you're going to be doing one-step movements. What we want to do is we want to practice multiple combinations continually so that we can commit that to muscle memory. Once we have techniques down in the muscle memory, it doesn't matter whether you're shocked or you're surprised. Your body does what you've trained it to do. You've trained a technique, so it happens automatically. The only way to do that is to commit it to muscle memory. And in my mind, if you're going to take the time to learn one-step combination, a one-step self-defense move, whether it's an outward block and just a chop, then it takes the same amount of time and the same amount of muscle memory to go 1, 2, and 3, and yes, 4, because the crossing elbow is the next technique that we're building into this. You can take the time and learn 2-step movements, 3-step movements, or 4-step movements, but they will all take the same amount of time, the same amount of agility, and it will all come to you as it's committed to muscle memory. The more the muscles remember what they need to do, the less you need to force the movement to happen. This series is not something you're going to want to miss. This series is going to be one of those things you want to save to your favorite playlist so that you always have it. Or better yet, come on over to the website, sign up, create your account, and you have access to this and more. But through all of our trainings and everything that we go over here in these videos, just keep in mind, when you practice these things, you will fail. To be quite honest, you're going to suck. And you're going to suck for a minute. But if you continue to train, I guarantee you will suck no more. Once committed to muscle memory, it shows. In either case, I hope you guys like this. It's off the cuff. It's not scripted. And this is me giving something back to my martial arts community. Coach D, push.